Pops is 82 years old. He's the kind of man who still polishes his shoes every Sunday and calls everyone neighbour, even the people who don't deserve it. Last Tuesday, he went down to the local hardware store, the one on the corner of 4th and Main. He just needed a specific type of washer for his sink. Simple, right? But when he walked in, the 3 kids working the floor, probably no older than 19, didn't see a customer. They saw a tar Pops told me later, with his voice shaking just a little, that they spent 20 minutes helping him. They led him in circles, from aisle 12 to aisle 4, back to aisle 9. Every time he asked a question, one of them would pull out a phone and start recording. They were whispering things like, "Look at him go," and "Is he even awake?" When Pops finally realised they were making a joke out of him, he just set the washer down and walked out. He didn't yell, he didn't complain, he just came home and sat on the porch, staring at his hands. When I asked him what was wrong, he said, "I think the world just doesn't have room for old men anymore, kiddo." Tone shifts, darker, more determined. That broke me. So, I called my cousin, Mike. Mike is 6'4", built like a brick wall and spent 8 years in the Marines. I told him we were going to go buy some hardware. We rolled up the next morning right at opening. We weren't wearing masks, but we were wearing intent. Mike had on his full tactical gear from his security job, and I stayed in the shadows by the door. We walked up to that same group of kids. Mike didn't say a word at first. He just stood there, towering over the lead kid with the bleached hair, and stared. The kid tried to do the cool guy laugh, but it died in his throat when he looked up at Mike. Emphasis. I stepped forward and said, "I heard you guys are real experts at navigating this store. My friend here, he's looking for something very specific. It's called respect." Mike leaned in, his voice like gravel. "The man you messed with yesterday, he's a veteran, he's a father, and he's ours. If he comes in here again and experiences anything less than 5-star service, well, we're going to have a very long, very uncomfortable conversation about your career choices." The bleached hair kid actually dropped his phone. It hit the linoleum with a crack that sounded like a gunshot. They weren't laughing anymore. They were pale, shaking, nodding so fast I thought their heads might pop off. Outro while warm, satisfied. That afternoon, Pops went back to get his washer. He called me an hour later, sounding like $1 million. He said the manager personally walked him to the aisle, carried his bag to the car, and gave him a lifetime discount. Pops thinks the store just had a change of heart. I didn't tell him otherwise. Sometimes you just have to remind people that the old man they're mocking has a whole lot of new problems they really don't want to meet.